Right, guys, welcome. Hope everybody is well. Friday, so we could obviously a bit later on experience Friday flows, and let's have a look into that. We're going to have a look at what we got today. We've got a massive afternoon coming up, so I'm going to be on point for this afternoon. I'm looking obviously to bank this morning. I just want to tick it over. I mean, this week has been not like a crazy quiet, week, but yeah, it's not been that crazy. How I've had obviously one good day, Wednesday, but obviously Monday, Tuesday, and yesterday ended up we're in a trade. I think I was about probably maximum like 5k up, but obviously I just pulled stops because I was hoping for that continuation and obviously got stopped out at break even. Let's have a look at everything, what's happening, why, where, how. So just get rid of this. So we've had a little bit of escalation, not massive, but obviously a little bit of escalation. I'm going to do a bit more research into that this morning because I don't just want to come on here and blast out stuff that I've not properly looked into. So you know nothing's really kind of moving against. Oh, everyone's starting to join now. There we go. So let's obviously start off like we do every single morning with the dollar. What happened yesterday? We had obviously a nice pump up, very, very late on. So that was very, very late kind of US. Um, no real reason, why. Um, Potentially there was inside information about an escalation. Potentially there was, expectations. But obviously, what we're gearing up for today is non-farm payroll, and the unemployment rate. So to me, expectations aren't going to be very high. We obviously had 178k new jobs last month. We got 65k new jobs projected. Anywhere around here will be okay. Anything above, probably about 75k. That is going to be, obviously very, very good for the dollar. Anything below, probably 50k. We're going to see that, continuation to the downside. But I think this is the important one, the unemployment rate. We've seen with Aussie ticked up. So is it going to tick up in regards to is it going to tick up for the US? We haven't had great jobs data come out, so it wouldn't surprise me if we do. So let's we'll wait and see obviously what happens here. We do have 98 here, kind of a bit of a 98 is kind of a support in between, but we do. I haven't drawn this very well, but if you look at this here, we do have a nice channel trending to the downside here. Little bit of a lower low. We went through this. However, you could argue this. Um, but it's very, very, messy. I don't personally think unless non-farm payroll and unemployment skips up, we're going to be able to break below here. All right, because this is like die hard times here. You can see how quick, these are 4 hour candles here. You can see how quick they got down into this area here and it couldn't break. So this to me is a bit of a very, very hard floor here. All right, and it'll be interesting to see obviously what happens. Are we going to be able to break it? Is there going to be enough? And I think non-farm payroll and unemployment rates would be enough to kind of break that, lower, but we need the de-escalation. So could it be a ploy? Could it be a ploy that there's a, bit of escalation before non-farm payroll just to hold everything where it needs to be? Who knows? Um, Yields, still kind of if we look at them on the week on week, that they're kind of where they started, right? It's not a very nice candle. This is a lot of indecision here. We've had a pump, we've had a dump, so price that is where we've opened. and that is where we have, where we're, trading right now. So, you can see here we've had a pump that doesn't like it on these higher time frames, and we've had a dump, but we're staying where we started. So that means no one really, knows what is actually happening, and obviously where to take everything. So right, let's get back on a 2 hour yields looking like they're starting to roll over. There was a nice kind of area of liquidity here, right? It's come back in. It's starting to roll over again. Will that roll over dollar? And obviously, in turn, should pump our gold trade up, nicely. But we'll go over that in a minute. So I think we're going to have a little bit of a slow, we've had a bit of an active, London Open. I think it could be a bit of a slower London session because everyone's going to be gearing up and positioning where they obviously, want to be, in regards to a, non-farm payroll. I think t today could be a very, very active one. I think we could see swings. I think we could be, either trading at this 98,500 or we could be trading back down at these levels here. So that's the kind of swing that I'm expecting. I'd like it to be trading around 98. I'd like it to be trading here so that we either get this nice pump up here or we get a nice pump to the downside, here and kind of stay here. Like I said, I can't see this breaking, but I have been wrong many times before. So yeah. Let's go through into what we are looking at today. So pound has run away. We obviously posted this trade 6:30-ish. So here was hoping for one more tap into this area before we get this nice pump. Didn't get that. And so I'm going to monitor this, but I'll probably step away from that and then wait. I want a nice active afternoon. Euro, we'd stayed away from, just a little bit messy. Pounds not quite as messy. Euro is, just messy right now, slow. So we're also coming into this level of, support here. Um, pound, it wasn't quite as heavy, sorry, resistance. Pound obviously wasn't quite as much because if you can see here, euro consolidated a lot here, and I didn't fancy buying into it. So, that's one thing that wrote it off for me. Aussie, liked it. I like the clean trend. If gold, for those of you who don't know, gold is obviously Aussie is one of the biggest exporters of gold because it's mined there. So obviously, if gold starts to pump, it's going to drag Aussie up with it. Along with what surprised me about Aussie is they have raised interest rates, and so it's one of those where it should all the boxes are being ticked for it to be trending higher. So we'll wait and see. One thing bit of research that I'm going to go into today is China, because obviously Aussie is linked heavily. They're key trade partners with China. So I am going to have a little more of a deep dive into China and obviously, economy wise. So I'll do a video on that a bit later on. Gold. I actually took profit. I took profit here. We had this nice tap. We pumped up. I come out. I might be tempted to enter again or potentially not. My goal this morning was just to get some money on the board here, for this morning because I do think historically when there's good, data and when there's good volatility because we're waiting and entering at the correct time, I normally do pretty well. So I'm quite looking forward to this afternoon. And then we got USDJPY, which I just don't like it. It's just not, you can see here, we obviously had a nice pump up. We're now just, mixing, there's been two kind of well, one range here. We're now pumped out of that range, and now we're into this range here. So that's what we're kind of looking at. Um, so yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. But obviously that is what I am, looking at here. I've had a few messages from Gold, so well done for everyone. And yeah, right. Let's go through some of these questions. There isn't very many this morning, so if you've got any questions, get your questions over. Happy to answer. Uh, Dorian, Mr. Missed the gold trigger first time round. Is it still valid? I mean, I'm still gonna go with my kind of overall outlook here. I can't see gold pumping. I would see, sorry, dollar trading around 98 coming into the US. Session. I think it's a reasonable, level for it to be trading at. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's off the table. Phil, you don't like consolidation because it's hard to say which way it goes. Yeah, it's just you got to imagine it as quicksand. All right, I was say this if you're running and then well maybe not quicksand but heavy mud. Imagine obviously this is where indecision is. All right, so when you get consolidation, you get sellers, all right, and you get buyers all kind of smashing into each other. All right, no one's really taking over. All right, that's how it kind of works. Yeah. All right. So what we like to kind of wait for is that breakout, but Euro's not even been clean on the breakouts. If you look at like, for example, USDJPY here, there was a nice, even this here, you can always box out consolidation once it's made high, equal low to your area, you can then start to box it once it breaks out, you can then capitalize on it. Although this one moved very, very quickly, you might have to go down to like a 1 minute chart. I'm going to do this slowly, but obviously, as you can see, broke out clean. You can then obviously tail it all the way down, stops obviously above. Like, I do like consolidation in that respect. In regards to it's quite easy to kind of trade. You can even like box it off a little bit like this, where right, you know what, we're boxing, broke through, enter, bang, So, I don't mind tr trading it. It's just right now we're obviously not getting these clean flows. All right, Euro is tending to consolidate more, than other other pairs as well as USDJPY, but these moves are quick, and it's almost like a step ladder. All right, so chances are USDJPY will either be trend trading here, all right, or it's going to be trading up at this, uh, next level here. That would be my two kind of targets, and then it'll be, stuck. All right. So it's been quite tricky to trade. So that's why I tend to, stay away from consolidating pairs. Yeah. Right. Let's have a look here. It stayed in gold, currently in drawdown. Do we commit or bail out for afternoon? It's only 20 past 8. All right. So it's only 20 past 8. So don't feel pressure to do anything. This zone here is still valid. Potentially, I might leave this one in here and this one in here, and obviously then trade it to the upside. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens here. But no, I can't see. dollar breaking above here, and I can't really see it breaking below here. I've been angling on the fact that there is more chance of us trading towards 98, yields here too, more chance of them coming into this potential area, ready for, either a pump up or a continuation to the downside. So let's wait and see. Does anyone have any more questions? Any more for any more? Otherwise, we'll end it here. We'll end it here. Then let's have a good Friday. We've already had a brilliant start. Like I'd said, I've had loads of messages from obviously gold, so it's nice to get that like tap and go. It's almost everyone's most kind of enjoyable gold trade in and out. So yeah, but no, let's make sure that we have a good day today. Nice, safe day. We don't want anything crazy. I'm going to wait for news to come out, and then we'll wait for the move to happen, and then we'll bounce off of the move as and when it happens. We're going to surf it. So right, have a great Friday, everyone. It's a bit cloudy, but yeah, hopefully it's going to brighten up. But no, have a good one, team.